Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's session with the Google Digital Garage for Get Started with Digital Advertising. My name is Daryl, and I am a trainer for the free skills training program, the Google Digital Garage. A little bit about myself. I come from a very diverse background within sales, recruitment, hospitality, and of course within tech, but I dedicate the majority of my time to help close the digital skills gap that is so prevalent in our world today. But I'm not here alone. We're also fortunate to have Alison with us here today. My apologies. Alison will be identified if you're watching us through a laptop or a desktop. She'll be just on the right-hand side and she'll have a little blue spanner next to her name. She's already said hello within the chat. And if you're on a mobile device, there's a very good chance that the chat will be just below us. Now, before we kick off with today's session, there's a couple of housekeeping tips before we get started. If you're having any problems hearing me or seeing me today, please go ahead and refresh your browser. It usually does the trick. Now, we really do encourage lots of questions throughout today's session. So there's no such thing as a silly question. In order for you to get involved with today's chat, you would be required to have a YouTube account. Relatively easy to get set up. Once you're all set up, you'll be able to fire over those questions to myself and Alison. And as mentioned, we love queries, we love questions, we love emojis. So please feel free to keep Alison on her toes and ask as many questions as possible. And any of those questions she'll pass on to me to hopefully answer, because we will be pausing throughout today's session for any questions. Now, if you are having any problems hearing me or seeing to me, of course, I said that already. Please go ahead and refresh your browser. Now, this particular course is part of a broader offering from the Google Digital Garage. So I hugely encourage you to click in the link in the description below. It'll take you to the website and give you a plethora amount of information, online courses, and many, many more live webinars very similar to this one. But before we move on, there's one last thing I'd like to mention. If you'd like to watch the closed captions or the subtitles for this live training, what you'll need to do is hover over the window, hover over the little cog icon, click onto the settings and select subtitles, and you'll be able to go along with us. But without further ado, I've seen lots and lots of hellos within the chat, which is great to see. Well, I'm going to get to those very, very shortly, but what are we going to cover over the next 60 minutes? We've broken it down to 3 basic steps. First of all, we're going to look at how we can understand search advertising. What is it? Where do we go? Why would we do it? And I'm going to prompt a lot of questions as we go along. Then we're going to look at how we can utilize display advertising, which is slightly different from search advertising. Last but not least, we're going to look at how we can learn about our social advertising. With each and every single section, there are going to be 4 key steps to approach and get started with digital advertising. So I encourage everybody to have a pen and pad ready to go, to take down those notes, externalize this information, and of course, make sure you get involved within the chat. I've already seen one from Leonard asking, what is digital advertising? Leonard, hopefully by the end of today's session, you can have a good or better understanding of what digital advertising is. We got Cieli, beautiful name, probably pronounced it incorrectly, but yes, she answered that very, very well. We got one from Mavio Studios. My apologies for the pronunciation. Hello to you. We got Anarudia Sarma from India. My apologies for the names again. We got one from Yagav. Hello to you. One from Min. Keep those coming in. Say hello to Alison and myself, and keep those questions as we go along. Now, myself and Alison are looking to pass on as much information as possible, but we don't want to be too overwhelming. So maybe after today's session, you're struggling and you're thinking, I need a little bit more help. Fear not, Google is offering free one-to-one mentoring sessions to small businesses and charities throughout the UK. I'm proud to be a part of this along with many other digital experts ready and waiting to help you. So please go ahead and take down the link if you are in the UK, which is g.co/UK mentoring. And I hope to see you or somebody that you passed on to this amazing initiative in future sessions. I'll be coming back to this towards the end because it's a beautiful initiative that allows you to have that one-to-one mentorship with somebody who can help you. But without further ado, we got another one from Tech Loka calling in from Sri Lanka. Wow, we have an international audience today. We got Rose calling in from the Philippines, I believe. We got Anyango Clinton from Nairobi. Wow, we have a beautifully wide audience. And with all that diversity and different cultures, I encourage everybody to get involved with the chat today. Remember, there could be something that you pop in the chat today that may resonate with somebody else. So let's keep it up and going throughout the whole of today's session. Keep the energy high. And of course, I forgot to mention happy Friday to everybody. Thanks everybody for joining myself and Alison and the team on your Friday to upskill yourself. But without further ado, let's jump into the first part, which is search advertising. Well, what is search advertising? Search advertising is advertising on search engines like Bing or Google. Now, there's a question I'd like to put out there to everybody, regardless if it's a business, a charity, or you're self-employed. But this is just a general question. So don't feel scared or worried about popping it into the chat. Remember, we're just ideating ideas. But the question out there to everybody is, why would you think a business like yours would want to advertise on a search engine like Google or Bing? I'll say that one more time. Why do you think businesses like yours, everybody watching here today, would like to start advertising on Google or Bing? Now, again, there's no right or wrong answers, but we just want to get your thoughts about what you think about search advertising and why would you, as a business, charity, or a freelancer, or a sole trader, decide to start advertising on searches like Google or Bing? Now, it's a bit of a general question, but it's a great question to start initiating and sparking those ideas for yourself and start moving forward. But without further ado, where is search advertising? So let's just say, hey, Daryl, let's just take a few steps back. Let's take a big breath in and look at something we may all be familiar with. Now, this is what we call a SERP. An SERP, which stands for Search Engine Results Page. It's an acronym that you may or may not use, but hopefully you're very familiar with this interface. And this is what happens when you go to Google and you start searching. In order for anything to happen, Google will require a user or you to input some keywords or a phrase within the first part, which is in the search query. Once you've entered that search query, then Google can then populate up-to-date relevant information to hopefully guide you in the right direction and get you the information that you're looking for. But just below that search query, we have something called an advert or pay text or shopping text, whichever you'd like to call it. But this is when we look at search marketing. Last but not least, at the very bottom, you have something called an organic listing. Now, a little bit of a jargon buster, you may think, well, Daryl, what is an organic listing? Well, if anybody has a website that they have publicly published or posted on the internet, you will have an organic listing. It could be on the 100th page of Google, the 1000th page of Google, but we talk a little bit more about search engine optimization, other sessions to drive that up to the very first page. But today we're talking about marketing and how do we start thinking about display advertising. So hopefully that's a good start for you to kind of start the journey of search advertising. But in order for you to follow along the journey with today's session, we're going to introduce you to Polleria. Polleria's Pizza. Now, Polleria's Pizza is an Italian restaurant situated in Edgbaston in Birmingham. Paulie wants to increase sales and is interested to know how digital advertising can help you. So hopefully for all of you watching here today, you may be thinking something similar. You may want to have the same outcome. So as much as we're going to follow along with Polleria's Pizza throughout the course of this session, what I really, really encourage everybody to do is think about it from your perspective. Think about it from your business, your charity, your organization, and start adding it in and start writing notes and start thinking about the keywords. This is all about ideating ideas. So you have a structured idea later on to start advertising and spending your money in the right place with a higher return of investment. So encourage you to follow along, encourage you to answer questions. I've seen some great answers in terms of why would you advertise on Google or Bing. We got one from Andreruda. Hopefully I pronounced that correct. We got wide range of audience. We've got Raghav, reach more audience, 100%. We've got Anyango Clinton, to attract more customers. I'm loving these verbs and these words that you're using. We've got TechLocker, to get more clients. And this is specific. If we're thinking about search engine, where do most of us start searching? Where do we look for things? Could be Google, could be Bing, but let's start with the process. Let's use Polleria's Pizza as an example, but I really want you to start thinking about your own businesses and start thinking about your own keywords, which we'll jump into second. So as mentioned, with each section, today we're going to talk about search marketing in the beginning. There's going to be 4 steps to this process. Number 1 is understand your customers. Now, you're going to hear me say that multiple times throughout the next 45 minutes or so, but understanding your customers, this is what makes everything else happen. Your customers have all the answers, so your connection with your customers needs to be strong to build up that rapport. Then we need to look at finding those keywords. We need to brainstorm good words that we can bid on that might be relevant to your target audience. Then we're going to look at how we can create an ad copy. Very, very important. In order to create good adverts, we need to understand, what does your customer want? What are they thinking? How can we put this information in front of them at the right time and fulfill those needs? Last but not least, how we're going to pull it all together. And in my opinion, pulling it all together is the easy part. Google has made it really easy for you to get started with each of these processes, whether it be display advertising, whether it be search marketing. But the most of the focus, hopefully you'll understand, is that your customers have all the answers. So let's go break down these 4 steps. Number 1, we're going to look at how we can understand your customers. So the questions, and maybe you want to start writing these down to start thinking about them a little bit later, but who is your audience? And I've had the common answer, well, Daryl, everybody's my audience. And I'm like, that's probably not true. Say, for example, we're talking about Paula Ria's Pizza. I love pizza, but a couple of my friends don't actually like pizza at all. And you think, well, Daryl, who doesn't like pizza? But there are going to be audiences for every different sector, depending if you're a restaurant or if you sell your services or if you sell your products, there's going to be something unique to your audience. So let's say, for example, Paula Ria's Pizza, we're looking to find more people, particularly to his audience, would be students. And he's identified that it's busy professionals, and it's also people who love pizzas. So he now started to understand a little bit more about who's Paula Ria's Pizza's audience. And hopefully you're thinking about yours. Then where are they? What is that locality? Are they within 20 miles of your radius? Are they in South Africa? Are they in Australia? But where is this target audience? And we need to narrow this down. Then most importantly is, what is important to them? What is it that's going to get them to click on that advert? We're going to advertise on search, but then they're going to see an advert. But why would they click on it? Buy one, get one free. Are they looking for authenticity? Are they looking for quality? Are they looking for quantity? We don't know this. And I wish myself and Alison can go ahead and tell you what your audience is. But this is when you start getting in tune with them. So who is your audience? Try give a couple of examples. And maybe you want to share within the chat. Think about your audience. If you can think about your audience, who would you say they are? Are they students? Are they busy professionals? Are they pizza lovers? If you're a pizzeria, but start thinking about it. And remember, there's no such thing as a silly question or a silly comment. And I'm really looking forward to you engaging within the chat. So who is your audience? Brainstorm it, write it down, or it'd be beautiful if you could share it within the chat. Then where are they? What's the locality? And then what's important to them? And I know it's very tempting to say, well, Daryl, my audience is everybody. And I say, where are they? Well, they're all over the world. And then what's important to them? Well, they love my products. We need to narrow that down just a little bit more. So step number 1, cannot emphasize the importance of your customers. So beautiful. We got one from Anderuda, college-going students. That is a great start. And for those who are also thinking, start adding that within the chat, and hopefully you're writing this down for you to jump into a little bit later. Where are they? What's important to them? And I wish I could spend more time on this, because if you are looking to start advertising and get a higher return of investment, is understanding your customers. But don't want to brush over it too much, but know the importance. Then step number 2, we're going to look at how we can create a keyword plan. Now that we have an understanding of our target audience, now I don't expect you to just all of a sudden know your audience within the last 5 minutes. I'm hoping that after today's session, you're going to dive deep into learning more about your customers. Then we want to create that keyword plan. There's loads of different ways to do this, but you're in luck. Google has a beautiful tool called Google Keyword Planner, which provides information to help you find the keywords that people are searching for. So we go, whoa, Daryl, let's again, just pause. Let's rewind. Let's regather ourselves. Wait, what was a keyword again? Well, here's the definition of a keyword. A keyword are words or phrases that are used to match your adverts with the terms that people are searching for. And this is something we do every day, but these keywords become very, very significant to your business, your charity, your freelancing business, or whoever you are. And this is going to be the joining factor between you and your business when it comes to search marketing. So how many combinations can we make? So we got Paula Ria's Pizza. We might want to look at matching these words to relevant business words relevant to your location as well. So we've got keywords that closely relate to your business. In this case, it's Paula Ria's Pizza, which is pizza, fast food, and takeaway. Now, what I want everybody else to do in the chat right now, watching, is think about keywords right now. Pop it into the chat and start thinking about what keywords do you think your customers are going to be using. And again, this is going to be iterative. You're going to be changing this multiple of times, but I want you to start thinking about those keywords, and I want you to start externalizing those ideas. So if somebody had to go to search right now and they had to start searching for a business like yours, what keywords do you think they're going to be using? Pop it into the chat. Myself and Addison would love to know. Then we're going to start thinking about keywords that related to your locality. So where are you in the world? Are you 20 miles from my business? Are you in 2 countries far away? Are you across the Atlantic Ocean? But where is that location? For this particular instance, Paula Ria's Pizza, it's in B18 Edgbaston in Birmingham. It is fixed. It's the location. We can't change that location. And that is probably the easiest path of finding out where we want to find our customers. And considering this is Paula Ria's Pizza, this is going to be more of a local business because he's looking to drive traffic to the physical location. But the combinations of these keywords are very long. There can be so many different ones. So pizza B18, it could be pizza Edgbaston, it could be fast food B18, could be fast food Birmingham. The list goes on. And I'd love to go through this more in detail, but I'm really, really encouraging you all to start thinking about keywords. What keywords will people use to find you? Pop it into the chat. We've got quite a few more in there, which is great. Oh, we've got Italian pizzas for the Paula Ria's Pizza. We've got Andorra Fresh Pizza. Love those because that's potentially what you would be searching for. And you might be some pizza lovers. And it's Friday and I'm talking about so much pizza. I'm getting so hungry. But that's beautiful that you've added those. And those would definitely be keywords that people will use. But what I want you to do is start thinking about your business, your charity, your brand, and start thinking about those keywords. Today is going to be the day you start thinking about it and you start writing it down. This is going to be very, very beneficial, not only for advertising, but to really identify who you are within the digital world and how people could find you. So keywords are very, very important. Now I'm going to do a quick exercise on these keywords. So we have matching the keywords with the business, and love to have that engagement throughout the chat. And the way in which we're going to engage is we've got 4 different businesses. We've got blue, we've got red, we've got yellow, and we've got green. Coincidentally, the colors of Google. So first and foremost, a mobile hairdresser in Birmingham. That's blue. Red is phone repair shop in Birmingham. Yellow is cupcake in Birmingham, and online fancy dress shop is green. What I'd like all of you to do is write blue and then write all the matching keywords below. And there should be 3 per color. Now you could randomize it. I don't expect everybody to do blue, red, yellow, and green. I'd like you to choose one of them. It could be green, and then start typing down in the chat which keywords match that particular business. And I'll start thinking about it myself. And as I'm doing this, I'll give you some time to start exercising those. Maybe you did it as a kid. It's kind of like Snap and finding out which one would be best suited. But this is the similar exercise that you would do as a business, charity, or organization. So we have blue, which is a mobile hairdresser. I'm going to go ahead and do this one first. So we have phone repair, Beeham City Center. Well, actually, I don't think that's blue because that's more for a phone repair. So let's go to the next one, which is barber, Birmingham, not blue. Then we have American football referee outfit. Doesn't really match my blue mobile hairdresser in Birmingham. Then we got same cakes in Birmingham, not quite the same. Then we have where can I fix iPhone screen Beeham? Ooh, I think it's still red. Then we have cupcake costume, probably not the same. Then we have a hairdresser, reviews, Birmingham. Now that definitely matches my business, which is a mobile hairdresser in Birmingham. Next one, let's find another next one. We have men's Halloween, no. Then we had red velvet cupcake, no. Then we have best cupcakes in Birmingham, no. Then we have mobile salon B21, which is a part of a postcode that is going to match blue. Then last but not least, phone repair, Beeham. I'm rolling off my tongue here. Phone repair, Birmingham, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be red. So let's see if we can get a few more of those in there. That would be great to see. Start exercising your mind. What is blue? What is green? What is yellow? And what is green? Start matching them up. Pop it into the chat, and hopefully we can get some right answers. Let's see if we can get one or two in there. Yes, we got Iran from Mobile Salon. She's gone with that one, which is Mobile Salon. Which one's that going to be? Yes, Mobile Hairdresser in Birmingham. Now, you may think to yourself, well, Daryl, this is very, very easy. This is kind of like matching words with words. Well, this is the same principle when you start thinking about your own business and what your business fits within the words of. If you were a hairdresser, there's going to be hair, the word hair, and hairdresser. If it's going to be cupcake, there's going to be a lot of cupcakes, for example, and then costumes. But we need to match up those keywords. And I'd love to spend more time on this, but I'd love to see the people already getting involved with the chat. But let's go ahead and look at the answers. We've got mobile hairdresser, barber, Birmingham. We've got hairdresser reviews, Birmingham. Let's go to yellow, for example. Cupcake in Birmingham. Well, red velvet cupcake. Ooh, it's making me deliciously hungry. Birmingham. Same day's cup, Birmingham. Best cupcakes in Birmingham. Hopefully you're starting to notice that these keywords are very closely related to your business. Now, if you think about Google and you think about anybody, what do we thrive on? We thrive on up-to-date, relevant information. So with that being said, the next step is step number 3, which is going to be creating engaging search adverts. The internet is full of adverts. So part of the work is to making sure people want to click on your specific ad. So, okay, we've spoken about keywords. What's next? The keywords will target what people are searching for, but your adverts will make people click. Remember, there's quite a few phases through the search journey. You go into Google or Bing and you start searching. You start to see a list of information and you perhaps see the adverts on the top. But once you see that advert, it's going to have a particular header or a heading or a headline, for example, to start capturing the customers for what they need. So how are we going to then match the ad headline to the customer? So I'm really going to leave this up to you right now. Now, similar process to the last exercise, we've got blue, which is people who value convenience. What I'd like you to do is write blue, then dash, then tell me which ones match blue. Then you could choose yellow, for example, write yellow in the chat, type a dash, and then type in the keywords below that match that particular headline. Then last but not least, we have green, which is people who value an authentic experience. Write green, put a little dash, and then tell me which keywords or which words are relevant to that particular business in that particular headline. I'll give you some time to do that. Pop into the chat. Remember, there's no such thing as a silly question or a comment, and there's no judgment right here. All we're looking to do is just exercise our minds when it comes to advertising and start thinking about those keywords. So I'll do the first one, people who value convenience. Well, fast 15-minute delivery sounds convenient to me, so I'm going to keep on to that one. Next one would be scheduled delivery available. That sounds quite convenient to me as well. So we're going to keep those two as blue. Hopefully you're now thinking about the yellow and the green. So yellow, Napolitano pizza variety, maybe not. That's more authentic experience, perhaps. Then we have live Italian music. Ooh, definitely not convenience, definitely not variety, perhaps authentic experience. Fantastic. We have quite a few coming in here. We have yellow from Abini, which is 17 different toppings available. Love that because it's a variety. Then we have Gemma, which is yellow, a different deal every day, 7 different toppings available. And Durada as well, fast 15-minute delivery, and delivery is blue. Blue, fast 15-minute delivery. You all 100% right. Now, what I want you to think about is, first and foremost, congratulations to everybody for matching those up correctly. But secondly, I want you to start understanding that your business, your charity, or whoever you are, your audience are going to have different expectations or different needs, for example. So once we identify that, Polarius Pizzas identified his audience or her audience is people who value convenience, people who love variety, and people who value an authentic experience. With that being said, he can start creating adverts that are more relevant to his target audience. But thank you so much for getting involved with the chat, especially on a Friday. Keep that energy. Let's keep moving forward and just do a quick of a match and just kind of confirm all of those beautiful answers. And Rock Dove, yellow, Napolitana pizza. I can't even speak Italian. So we got Italian Napolitana pizza, and we got Andorra as well, green Napolitana pizza. So thanks everybody for contributing. It really, really helps. And first of all, loves to know that you're there. But the most important thing is that you're now externalizing. And that's the best way I learn, when I start to really interact and start putting in pen on paper. So that's only the first part. Now, step number 4, this is where pretty much everything else is done for you, almost done for you. Basically, we're going to jump into something called Google Ads. So understanding your customers, just want to remind you what we've done so far. Understanding your customers, very, very important. Then where are they? What's important to them? Then you've done some brainstorming as to those keywords that they might be using. And then last but not least, you created a copy of that advert that's going to be relevant to your target audience. So do let me know if you have any questions. Myself and Alison, we're here and ready and waiting. I like to think I know a lot, but I don't know everything. But if you have any questions, we're going to jump into a Q&A very, very shortly. So feel free to share any questions within the chat. But the last part, step number 4, we're going to jump into something called Google Ad. All you do, jump into Google, type in Google Ads, and you'll be able to set up an account. If you already have a Gmail account, you're already pretty much ready to go. But if you haven't, you'll set up a free email with Google, and you'll be able to set up your own Google Ads account. Once you've created that, we then move on to click on the little plus sign, which is very, very familiar on most of Google's interfaces. Once you think about plus, you're going to add, you're going to create something. With that, you're going to select a new campaign. When I first heard the word campaign, I was like, whoa, campaign? What do I need to do? Do I need to hire somebody to do it? I've never done a campaign before. The way I like to think about a campaign, it's like a thought process. It's going to be how you're going to organize the information that you're going to put forward to your audience in the most effective way. So campaign, thought process of organization. Then step number 3, you're going to select the campaign type. In this particular instance, we're using search. We're using search marketing. So we're going to select search as a campaign type. Then step number 4, we're going to then select the targeting of what is the location. Remember, we may want to choose a city or even a specific postcode initially, but the larger your geographical area, the most search volume is likely. You may have specific times that you'd like to have these adverts running, but most importantly, you are always in control of setting your own budget of how much money you would like to put forward towards this advert. As we discussed before, you'll be able to add the keyword list and relate it to your ad and make sure this is tightly themed to your business. Adding those keywords, you will refine them. Now, if you could get all the keywords right the first time, kudos to you. Probably not going to happen, so we're going to learn to change these keywords the more we learn about our customers. Then last but not least, we're going to then create your advert. Very simple, heading 1, heading 2, give a description, and then it'll even show you a preview. So let's see. I don't see if there's any questions so far, which is perfectly good. You're probably just absorbing all this information. But just to let you know, if this has kind of gone like right over your head and you kind of want to rewind, just to let you know, this particular live training will be available as a recording for approximately 24 hours, where you'll be able to rewind and fast forward and really absorb the information at your own pace. All you'll need to do is click on the same link that you used to sign in today, and you'll be able to watch and rewind and fast forward. On top of that, we'd love to have those questions as we go along. And of course, we love your feedback. I'll talk more about feedback towards the end. There is a link. Alison will be sharing a link a little bit later. And this is a very, very important point. And you think, well, Darryl, why is it important? I want to tell you why and how important this is at the very end of the session. Feedback is so golden, and I'll talk about it towards the end, so make sure you stick around. Now next, we're going to talk about display advertising. First, what we did, the first part of today's session was all focused around search advertising. When we jumped into Google, we jumped into Bing, and this is when we start having adverts below that search query. Now we're going to dive into something a little bit different. It's called digital advertising, where we're advertising on a variety of publishers' websites. Display advertising allows you to advertise to be seen on a very broad audience, very much like all those wonderful comments that you popped in at the very beginning, where I asked you, why would a business like yours want to post on search? But this is very similar. When we're looking to use digital advertising, it's a bit like a billboard. So let's put it in perspective. What is a display advert? Well, to put it in the most simplest terms, if you imagine you're in a car, you're driving with your family or by yourself, either or, you're driving a long road and you see a town in the distance and you're not quite sure what it is, but then there's a massive billboard that says biggest shopping center in the world. Wow, that's amazing. That's drawn my attention and might build a little bit more awareness. Now I know what's in that town. I want you to take that same process, the same thought process, and think about it from a digital point of view. When you're browsing through websites and you start finding different things that pop up in adverts, sometimes we become so oblivious to it because there's so much digital advertising has been around for a while. But how is digital display advertising different from search advertising? Well, I'd like you to put that out there. What do you think the difference is between display advertising and search advertising? Remember the first part of today's session, we spoke about the Google, or we spoke about the SERP, an acronym that you may not use, search engine results page. Now we're talking about display advertising, about a billboard for your business. Now, display advertising comes in all shapes and sizes, like a banner on the top, banner down the side, could be an image, could be a video, could be text. And sometimes it's placed so well that it looks like it's actually a part of the website. And that's probably the best advertising that you can get around. But a couple of ideas. What do you think? What is the difference between display advertising and search advertising? And if you think, well, duh, I know what that is, pop it into the chat. Remember, not everybody here knows everything. So as I can definitely say I don't, but share within the chat is how is display advertising different from search advertising? I'm going to slowly but surely move on to the next slide, but hopefully you're thinking about this and you're going to pop it into the chat. So let's go to search advertising is focused around addressing search queries, like the likelihood in generating sales is higher to understand exactly what the user is searching for. So if you think about search engines, we need to understand what the keywords people are using. So if they're using that keyword, we're going to be focused on search engines like Google and Bing. But the most relevant when the primary objective is to generate sales. Why? Well, you think about it. Excuse me. If somebody searches for you on Google or Bing, and then you're the first thing that pops up, I want to click onto you and hopefully I want you to buy my product or service. So it's very, very direct. And the customer's journey to purchasing your products is just a little bit shorter. But when we think about display advertising, the focus is around serving the adverts across different websites, such as news, blogs, and local websites. The most relevant primary objective is to grow more brand awareness. Just think about that car that we were driving down a long road. I saw a billboard that said the biggest company or the biggest shopping center in the world. It rose my brand awareness. I now know that that shopping center is within the town that's 100 miles in front of me. So there's some huge factors between the two, depending on what you want to do. Now, I always get the question, Daryl, which one should I use? Should I do search or should I do display advertising? I'll ask you first and foremost is, what is your objective? What are you looking to do? Are you looking to drive sales? Are you looking to drive more brand awareness? Then the next question would be, how much you know about your audience? And then the conversation will start to follow. But there are some key differences between the two. So let me see if so far we've seen a question come in there. One from Adira. Display adverts help you reach an audience who are not actively looking for your business. I could not have said that any better. 100%. And I'll give you another simple example. I jump onto a golfing website. I used to love golf. I haven't golfed for a while. And I'm browsing through this golfing website. And then there's some golf clubs that pop up. And there's some golf balls that pop up. And I click onto it because it's relevant to what I'm watching. But it's raising my awareness of that product. Thank you so much for adding that. Tech, digital advertising can share quickly. Exactly. We're looking to share it. We're looking to get it out there. But it may not always lead to a sale. So let's look at the process for display advertising. Number one, you've heard me say it. Very, very important. Very, very important. Understand your customers. And don't be frustrated if you don't know who they are right now. But speak to them. Send out forms. Create surveys. And later on, you could dive into the analytics of your website. Now, that's not a topic we're going to talk about more. But if you want to learn more about your customers, insights and Google Analytics will help you hugely. So definitely click on the link in the description below and wait for the next live webinar, and hopefully you'll join us for that session. Then placement ideas. Placement ideas, where we're going to put this advert. Is it going to be on the certain website or a golfing website or whichever website, then create an ad creative. Very, very important. How do we capture the attention of them? Then we're going to pull it all together. So number one, very, very important, understand your customers. But in this case, we're going to look at who is your audience and where are they, but not from a physical point of view, because we can't put display and billboards in front of people's houses. We have to think about who's the audience. In Porteria's Pizza's instance, it's going to be students, pizza lovers, and busy professionals. Now, where are they? They're not going to be in Edgbaston. They're not going to be in Birmingham, or they are probably going to be there. But when it comes to display advertising, where are they going to be searching in the digital world? Are they going to be on a student website? Are they going to be on a local food directory? Are they going to be on any other website around students? Is there going to be a working professionals websites? Is there going to be a food blog where you can add his pizzas in there and give a visual representation of how amazing his pizza is, that the cheese just melts off? But we'll get there towards the visualization very, very shortly. And probably by the end of this, you're all going to be hungry for pizza. I most certainly am already. So step number one is understanding your customers. It's always the first step. Step number two is going to be find placement ideas. Now, to help you, we have something called the Google Display Planner to find relevant websites that can go along. Now, if you get stuck with this, what I do recommend is you book into those one-to-one mentoring sessions. But the idea here is to find out, where do we put our adverts? Step number three is going to be creating an engaging advert creative. Very similar to the search advertising, but the search advertising is only text. Because when we go to the search engine results page, you're going to search a search query, then you're going to have links and information. It's all going to be in words. With display advertising, we now need to think about how can we get something visually appealing. Now, when it comes to pizza, again, there goes the word pizza. It's relatively easy to start creating something that's going to be something you just want to bite into the screen. You want to just grab pizza and you want to eat it. But that's when we start thinking about how do we capture the attention with visuals, but also add some text to compel them to actually click on the link. So that's where it comes together. Make your adverts visually appealing, whether it be a product, whether it be a service, whether it be you, whoever you are, make your picture clear as day, and then have a great call to action, which is buy one pizza, get one free. If I was near Birmingham, I'd probably go there right now. Step number four, pulling it all together. This is pretty much where I recommend the easiest part is, where we jump back into something called Google Ads. Now, remember, all you need is a Gmail account to get set up. You can log into your Google Ads and your Google account, or you can create one. Each ad, you'll need to start with a campaign. Now, remember, a campaign is just the thought process of how you're going to set this up. But in this particular instance, if you're going to sell lots of products, like imagine I'm a shoe salesman, and I sell women's shoes and I sell men's shoes. Do I really want to create an advert that's relevant to all of them? Or do I want to create a campaign for the female shoes and then create a campaign for the men's shoes? Now, that's not to say that women don't buy men's shoes and vice versa, but majority of women would want to know about women's shoes. So this is when we start thinking about the thought process and organizing your information correctly to put them in front of the right audience. Step number two, we're going to select that plus sign, but previously we selected display. Previously we selected search. Correction there. Now we're going to select display as going to be the next step. Number three is going to be the targeting. Now, we're not going to set a target in terms of what is going to be the location, what is going to be the radius, where do we want to put this advert out there. Step number four, find some relevant website placement ideas using a display planner. Which websites are going to be ideal for your particular business and your particular adverts. Step number five is going to be creating your advert. Now, when I say that's easy, Google has made it super easy. It's going to say, well, okay, what is the title of your advert? Then what is the final URL? So what is the destination? When somebody clicks on this picture or this advert, where do you want them to take you to your website, to your Facebook page, to your Instagram page? Where do you want them to take them to? Then we want to add the assets of what the pictures are going to look like. We're going to have a pizza of somebody eating a pizza like that right now. Then the headline, and then along with a long headline, further context to add there. So haven't seen any questions so far. Perfect. Okay, so if there are any questions and you're hesitating, please don't hesitate. Pop it into the chat. Myself and Alison would love to answer any questions that you may have. And if you're struggling, make sure you book into those one-to-one sessions. Oh, there we go. One from Rockdove Visuals. Does size matter more than content in displaying the advert? Rockdove Visual, that's a beautiful question. So if I put that into perspective, it really comes down to which website you're going to be putting your information. Let's say, for example, I was selling golf clubs and I wanted to put my golf club advert to sell my golf clubs on one of the well-known golfers of the world who's just maybe won a tournament or so, and put it on his website. But his website is very, very clean and organized, where he has very little information and not so many adverts. Now, if you just had some random big advert on the top, yes, it will grab my attention, but do I necessarily want to click on it? So I couldn't give you a definite answer, Rockdove. What it really comes down to is learning about changing them. Should it be an image on the top? Should be an image down the banner down the side? Maybe it should be a video. Maybe it should be just text. There's going to be different circumstances for every different sector and every different business. So yes, bigger may perhaps help you at times because it's more of an area for people to click on to get more noticeable, but sometimes that's not always the case. Most of the time, it comes down to really creating an advert that is built, created specifically for your target audience. Talking about everything that we've spoken about before. Who are they? What do they like to do? Where do they spend their time? What do they do during that time? When are they normally, for example, on the internet, for example, or searching a certain item, for example? So understanding your customers will allow you to learn more about how you start placing that advert. Now, making it larger, like a huge billboard, potentially, but maybe not. Maybe like something smaller, a little bit more captivating with a few words, with a small image. You never know. But great answer, great question. Please keep those questions coming in. If you have any other more questions, feel free to pop it into the chat. Talking about feedback, I've got your minds thinking about that because I'm going to talk more about feedback towards the end of today's session. Last but not least, we've got 20 minutes to go. If you're still paying attention, kudos to you. The average human attention span is close to 8 seconds. Some even say 3 seconds. So if you've managed to pay attention for the last 40 minutes, kudos to you. And really, hopefully, you'll stick with us for the next 20 minutes. And really thank you for staying with us so far. Last but not least, we're going to talk about social paid advertising, which is something that you may have come across before. Maybe something that you've actually bought something before. Actually, share that with us, with Alison. Have you ever come across social paid advertising? Have you either bought something off social media by clicking on a link, or maybe you've sold something on social media and you've used social advertising yourself? If you have, how successful was that? How did it go? Myself and Alison would love to know, so pop it into the chat. But we're going to jump into, first of all, we're going to define it. Social paid advertising. What is social advertising? You may already have come to presence with these platforms, but advertising allows you to find those hard to reach potential customers. When it comes to social media, all of us could open any of those social medias that you can see on screen right now, and we can still freely post. But when we start posting, that particular post will only have a certain reach, as in it might just reach my followers, and it may reach a few other people that have an interest in what I'm posting at that given time. So the reach is very limited. So when it comes to social advertising, they're going to go ahead, and paid advertising is social networks like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and many, many others, also known as paid social media advertising or social media marketing. Now, the question comes out there is, and again, I'd like to put that out there to everybody, is why should we use social advertising? We've spoken about search advertising. I've spoken about display advertising, but now we're talking about social media. Why do you think we should use social advertising? What's the benefit for you? But pop it into the chat. Give myself and Alison are ready and waiting to hear your opinions, your thoughts on why should we use social advertising? What benefit is it going to give you? And it could give us lots, but we need to start thinking about, there's a post on the right there, on the far right-hand side, is Jasper's Market. It's got Jasper's a unique community destination for ultra premium prepared food. Well, you've already got my attention. I see lots of food. Then I have an address, and then I have it looks like some sort of a button that we have. Now I'm going to talk more about that button very, very shortly. And that's a huge, significant difference when we talk about organic posts that you're just freely posting, and paid advertising. Tech, love that answer. Pretty much if nobody else answers, that's the one I'm going to go with. Everybody uses social media. And I'd love to say everybody, myself and Tech Locker, we probably think the same. Not everybody's as fortunate, but majority of people and individuals are using social media on a daily basis to connect with friends, with family, create their businesses online. But many of us are spending our times on social media. And if a lot of us are spending our time on social media, it would prove to be a really good place to start advertising. There again, one from Yana, reach a wider audience. Just think about how many Facebook profiles there must be. Think about how many profiles there are on Instagram, for example. Think about how many people are spending their time on social media. And that can be very overwhelming, but how can you as a business charity organization tap into that and find out what's happening and put your products and services in the place of where people are browsing? So great ones popping into the chat. Love that. So what are the main differences between organic and paid social media? That is probably the main thing we need to bring across before we dive a little bit deeper. Provoking that question, the key differences between the two will be, well, organic social media are views, clicks, and actions. They're all free. When we post and people are scrolling and they're clicking and they're liking, it's all free, which is awesome. It really starts to help us connect each other. But the content appears on the business profile and people's news feeds, but it can only reach the followers and the friends of your followers. So it's not going to reach too many people. And if your objective and your business objective is to reach new audiences, you may want to think about paid social media. Now, there's a myth, a mysterious myth that people think, well, this is all free. Yes, it can be free if you think about organic, but if you have objectives and you have goals that you want to achieve, new audiences, and you want to start driving sales, then we start thinking about paid social media. Now, I'm not saying that's something you jump straight into. Organic social media, organic growth is probably the best start to build the foundations of who you are, creating a profile and creating posts that are really relevant to who you are. And if somebody comes across your profile and they find your profile and go, oh, I know what he's about. He's a golfer and he sells golf clubs, or he's a pizzeria and he sells pizzas, or he's a freelance contractor who does freelance digital skills, for example. Building that organic growth and then starting to shout about it in the world using paid social media, where adverts can appear in more places and can reach pretty much anybody. People you don't even know, just could be somebody that's 500 miles away. It really depends on where you put your advertising, but it could reach anybody. And that's the beauty of reaching new audiences. Now, let's look at the key differences between organic and social media. We have organic social media on the left, which is both Fabletics UK. They look very, very similar. And the one on the left is just a normal post. Life is a journey. Find your workout inspiration at Fabletics. Then a wonderful lady with her hands in the air. And it's quite captivating. But what you will notice is that probably something that we all do. And, say if you don't, you don't. But majority of the time, we have our phones out and we are just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling through our phone aimlessly. And if I saw the post on the left, I'll probably keep on scrolling. However, maybe I really got captivated by life is a journey, find a workout inspiration. I feel like I need to get in shape. What can I do? Oh, I'm going to like this page. Now that button, that like page, is something what we call a CTA. Now, this is an acronym. If you're looking to learn more about digital, it's an acronym that I recommend that you write down, a little notepad and a pen, but CTA stands for Call to Action. Remember, your customers or your audience is going to be seeing this online, but where do they go next? We need to kind of create something that's going to guide them in the right direction. In this particular instance, there is that like button. Next up, we have something, I don't know, but this is a platform. Are you familiar with this platform? What platform, what social media platform is that? Pop it into the chat because I'm not quite sure which platform it is, but maybe you recognize it. Pop it into the chat. We'd love to know. So organic on the left, and it's an Adidas original. And it's got just a post, and I like Adidas. It's got a post, lots of hashtags, 580 likes, probably. Ooh, those are amazing shoes. I want to buy those. Maybe I want to buy those. But how do I get to buy it? I don't know where to go. So let's think about the one on the right now. come across, I'm scrolling through my phone, I see it on social media, I need new shoes. I don't even know I need new shoes, but I come across this, ooh, I really like these shoes. Now, I can now just click a button and that button will take me to the website to actually buy the products. That's a little bit more successful. The one on the left is more about brand awareness. Hey, this is who I am, this is what we sell. The one on the right is like, hey, this is what we sell. If you really like it, click on the button, you can go ahead and buy it. So yes, from Min Ciela, I'm pretty sure that's correct. Beautiful name. Instagram as well. And Dorada, also Instagram as well. Beautiful, all on point. It is an Instagram post, but hopefully you identify the difference. One of them is brand awareness, but the second one, the paid advertising, gives the opportunity for your customer to go, ooh, I like this shoe. I want to click on this button, hopefully take you to your website and buy it. Okay, next one. What social media is this one? I kind of don't know. No, I do know. But which one is it? What social media platform is this one on screen right now? So we got organic social media, which is lose the flash, not the moment, now rolling out across Pixel phones. Oh, did you know the latest Google Pixel 6 is out, which is super cool, but it's got a photo. It's a GIF. It's actually quite visually appealing, but what you'll notice is it's got a hashtag night site. Then it has goo.gle / and it's got a link. Now, a link, technically speaking, is a call to action. But if I click on the GIF, the picture is probably just going to pop up and I can see more of it. If I really wanted to learn more, I'd have to go find that link inside the post, click onto that link to take me to where you want me to take me to. However, the one on the right, when it comes to paid advertising, yes, it is Twitter, Raghav, and we got some new names coming into the chat. Love the fact that you started to get involved, so keep that going on, and I've only got about 10 minutes left. But the one on the right is more broader. We have a larger real estate, should we say. Now, it's got sell digital rules for your child's Android device and so on and so forth. But if I click anywhere where it says no more be confident with Family Link, that is a big call to action. I'm going to click that. It's going to take me to where I want you to go. So you purchase or buy or do whatever I want you to do on my particular website. So hopefully you see the difference. Yes, some Instagram, some Twitters, and I think the previous one was Facebook, but where should you advertise? Big question. Now you think to yourself, wow, well, there's so many different platforms. There's YouTube that we're on right now. There is Facebook, there's Instagram, but where do you post? Where are you going to advertise? And I ask that question often and say, well, I'm going to use Instagram because I like to use Instagram, or I'm going to use Facebook because I like to use Facebook. And I always say to those individuals, beautiful that you know how to use these platforms, but where's your audience? Where is your customers spending their time? Are they on YouTube? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Instagram? Identify that. But last but not least, let's jump into the process of social media advertising. Number one, always the same, to understand your customers, but in this particular instance is choose your objective. What are you looking to do with this particular advertisement? When you're looking to advertise, you're looking to grow more brand awareness, you're looking to drive sales. What are you looking to do? Choose your audience, which audience you want to start putting yourself out there, add creative, and then set your budget. Now, when it comes to where is your audience, this is something I mentioned at the very beginning of today's session, would be diving into your insights. Now, the importance of aligning a social network with your target audience is key. For example, this is something what we call Facebook Insights. And you can actually see how many of your target customers are on there. And if they are rough demographics, they'll tell you what is their gender, what is their age, what is their job. And if you can learn more about what people are, who are the people that are spending time on your particular profile, what are they, how old are they, what is their gender, when do they spend time on my profile, you're now learning more about your customers. But maybe you think, well, Daryl, I don't have much traffic right now. I'm just starting off and I haven't really got any analytics or any insights. Fear not. If that's not the case, my second recommendation is going to be do a competitive analysis. What are your competitors doing? As we've noticed within social media, so many people are on social media. So many of your competitors are freely posting on a daily basis. What's stopping you? Yes, everybody watching here, stalking them. Maybe not use the word stalking, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to start looking at the internet and start looking about what your competitors are doing. What social media platform are they on? And if they're on that social media platform, where are they putting their advertising money? Where they're advertising. And then when they are advertising, what do their adverts look like? Now, I'm not saying copy and paste, What I'm saying is take what they're doing well, finesse it, make it your own, and start posting. That's going to give you a great head start. Once you've done that, hopefully you're going to have insights and analytics set up. If you're struggling with that, make sure you click in the link in the description below and wait for the next live training on Get Started with Analytics, and then you can start learning more about your customers. Once you've done that, you can then find which platform is driving the most traffic to your sales to your website. So say, for example, you have a website, you're using social media to drive people to your website to buy your products. If you have a website that is set up with Google Analytics, you can find so much information. You can find out, where did they come from? Did they come from Facebook? Did they come from YouTube? Did they come from my recent campaign that I spent money on for display advertising? Did they come through directly? How did they come? What is their age? What is their gender? What devices are they using? Are they using a mobile device? What type of mobile device? Which is a very important thing to think about as well. But it's a flood of information. Analytics can be very overwhelming, but don't you worry. The Google Digital Garage is here to ease you through that process. And if you do want to learn more, make sure you click on the link in the description below, and we'll get there when we get there. But remember, we just need to find out where we're going to put the advertising first. So last but not least, we're going to talk about some targeting options with social media. We have blue, yellow, green, red. Blue is Facebook, yellow is Twitter, red is LinkedIn. Now, if we're looking to target these options, we have the location, we can use the gender and the age. And as we know with Facebook, it's all about life events. When was your birthday? When did you get married? When did you graduate? And we start highlighting this in our Facebook profiles. Then we have Twitter, which is location, age, and gender. You'll notice that's for all three platforms. But particularly for Twitter, we have keywords and the following. With LinkedIn, we have a job title and the skills. So if you're looking to target on social media, only once you know who your customer is, we need to start targeting correctly. So let's go ahead, match the statement with the social network. We have blue, we have red, and we have yellow. Now, what I'd like you to do is put blue, tell me which social media platform would be ideal for that targeting. Then I want you to write red with a dash, then tell me which platform would be ideal for red, then same for yellow. Now, remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. There really just comes down to preference and which one you think would have the highest return on investment, or is going to bring you more people to your particular place of work or to your website. So pop it into the chat. I'll give you some time. We have about 4 minutes left, very, very shy of time right now. So let's see what we have. We have blue, which social media platform? Red, which platform is that? And yellow, which platform is that? While I'm going to let you do that, I've seen a comment there from Raghav. I haven't found the analytics webinar in that link. Raghav, thank you for checking. It definitely will come up in the future. So keep an eye out on the Google Digital Garage. Secondly, if you really want to learn more about analytics, I don't want to leave you out to dry. If Alison, you'd be so kind to pop in the link for the Google Analytics Academy, where you can start learning more about analytics. That can be a good start. And then you can come back to these live trainings so we can guide you through that process. So we got blue, yes, Facebook. We got Yana, blue, Facebook. And we got Raghav, blue, Facebook. Why? Because we're talking about jewelry and we're talking about a life event, which is a birthday. We got red is Twitter. Yes, it is Twitter, because we're thinking about keywords and we're thinking about the following. Last but not least, yellow, LinkedIn, one of my favorite social media platforms, especially for building your career or your business. So with that being said, thank you everyone for contributing. Really, really love the fact that everybody's so switched on a Friday. Again, happy Friday to you. But last but not least, what I told you all to hang on to was the last part is myself, Alison, and the team would love to know and mean the world to us if you could fill out that form, which is goo.gle/digital garage feedback. Now, why did I keep you all the way to the end to tell you that? Because this is just one very good way to start learning more about your audience. So by you filling in this form, you're going to tell us more about what you thought about this particular live training. We're then going to hopefully look at that, get that feedback, and improve moving forward. Take that same principle and start doing it yourselves. Every interaction you have with a customer, hey, could you kindly fill out that survey? Or could you tell us what you feel? Or tell us what your feedback is? Take that information, integrate it into your business, and then you have a better connection with your customers. So highly recommend that. Let's see if there's any questions. Rogdo, visuals. When do we know how our organic growth is insufficient and when we need to start paying for social? Rockdo Visual, that's a beautiful question. So organic growth is going to be great to build up the foundations. The moment you're going to find when it's insufficient is, first of all, what is your goal? You're looking to grow more brand awareness, or you're looking to drive sales? So if you're particularly looking to drive sales with organic growth and you're not getting the clicks that you want, but you've already an established following, but you really need to start generating new customers, there's no particular time, but once you start to see your sales or your engagement drop, we need to start thinking about how we can create campaigns at the ideal time to start thinking about paid advertising. Rockdo Visual, if you are in the UK, I hugely encourage you to book into those one-to-one sessions where they'll really take you through that process. Okay, so far, don't see any other questions, but really good questions, really great engagement. What I'm going to say, what is next? What is your next steps? Well, hopefully you're going to stay with the Google Digital Garage for future more live trainings. Make sure you click in the link in the description below. I know you have to see there's no get started with analytics, but there are many, many more live trainings. And I do recommend that you jump into the online courses section and do the fundamentals of digital marketing. At the end, you get a wonderful certificate and you can post that on your profiles. And if this kind of went straight over your head and you're not quite sure what Daryl said or what Alison is doing, make sure you book into those one-to-one mentoring sessions and it'll help you. Remember, the recording is available for approximately 24 hours, so you can rewind and fast forward. But without further ado, I'd like to say thank you, a big thank you to Alison for moderating and answering all your wonderful questions. Thank you to everybody for spending your time here with us on a Friday. I wish you a wonderful weekend. Make sure you look after yourself, make sure you look after each other, and I would say bye for now.